This morning, as 165 boats jammed into the McFarland Park Marina Canal for the launch of the Walmart FLW Tour event on Pickwick Lake, many pros joked that the crowded conditions would be the same out on Pickwick's community ledges. Indeed, out on the lake, some spots were exactly like that. It was take a number, if you will. Others, however, found plenty of water to themselves and cashed in on it. Leading the event after day one is Canada's own Gussie, thanks to this monster bass weighing in at 10 pounds, 12 ounces.
Gussie, unreal. I overheard you say that you've been to Texas, you've been all over the country trying to catch 10-plus pound bass. You come to a tournament at Pickwick Lake and you catch a 10-plus pounder.
Yeah, pretty crazy. You don't, when you're fishing out here, and I caught a couple 5-pounders this week in practice, but I mean, a lot of the fish are, a 3-pounder is a pretty good one. And you're not really geared, I wasn't really geared up for that or expecting that, but yeah, I set the hook on this fish. It was on a long cast on a jig, and it came clear out of the water. I mean, those big ones usually kind of just wallow, and I mean, it came right out of the water, and when I grabbed it out of the net, I was shaking like a leaf.
What fish number was that for you?
Probably like my 6th or 7th one. I had a pretty slow start for the first couple hours, and then I pulled up to a spot and I think I caught 3 pound-and-a-halfers in 3 casts, and threw back to the same place and got the big one. So if anybody out there doesn't think that those big fish are mixed in with the little guys, well, it was my lucky day, I guess.
It's your living proof.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you able to find something to yourself, or you've been sharing water?
I caught fish on like 4 different spots today, and they were all, I had them all to myself. They were all kind of, a couple of them, were just places where I caught a fish in practice, and nobody was around, and went and they were better today than they were a couple days ago. So, I mean, I don't know what gets these fish really, I don't have that part of it dialed in on when a spot is good, at what time, but obviously tomorrow I have a little better idea of a few places that I want to hit for earlier in the day. It seems like in practice the early morning was probably the best fishing for me, and then kind of got burned on that a little bit earlier today. But it's like we were talking earlier. If a spot's open, I mean it is crowded out there, and I'm fishing that central part of the lake, and a lot of boats are fishing that stuff. But if a spot's open, then I'm going to go fish it. That's kind of how I'm rolling as far as where I'm going to fish.
You said a lot of these guys are keeping up with water schedules and all uptight about it. You're just like, I'm just going to fish wherever I can get a spot.
Yeah, and like for me, I know a lot of these guys now, and most of them are really nice, but it is intimidating for me to I don't have it in me to just pull up into the pack, and I don't know. Maybe I gotta get a little meaner, but
it looks like good karma came your way today.
Yeah. So I'm hopefully I can catch a decent limit tomorrow and get to fish on the weekend. That's my first goal, and go from there. I know the heavy hitter, Mr. Haynes, is kind of breathing right down my back, so I probably won't get that lucky 2 days in a row. But yeah, it was a lot of fun for sure.
Richard, great day for you, 23 pounds. Tell me about the ring around the Rosies. Did you avoid the game today, or did you find some stuff to yourself?
I tried to stay away from as much as I could, but, I mean, it's impossible. The good areas with the good fish, everybody's found them. And I was fortunate being almost the last boat out today to get on a good stretch. And I did share it with a few people, but, we worked together, and it worked out good. It wasn't a fight or a hassle to stay on the fish. So I was really blessed and lucky in that sense.
It's odd. Everybody talks about the boat number, and everybody wants the first 30 boats. But oddly enough, sometimes guys in the last flight do well simply because they just kind of take what's left out there, and it ends up being the right place.
Yeah, and I can vouch for that. My first 3 places that I went to today, there were boats on all 3 of them. Right. And finally I get to the 4th one, and there's one guy, and it's a pretty long ledge. So, we pulled in there, and I sat there for probably 3-4 hours and then left. And I think I rotated between 3 spots today to catch that. So
the first spot that you went to, did it pay off? Did that one?
Yeah, that spot helped. For I think 3 of my 5 fish came off the first spot, and then I think I picked another one up about 12:30 and another one about 2 o'clock. So, I didn't catch a lot of fish like I wanted to, but the ones I caught were quality. So
I've asked a couple of people about current today. Did it play a role? I didn't see much of it when I was out there.
I thought this morning there might have been a little bit, but I don't think where I was it really affected it. Back behind an island, I don't think I noticed much. The wind played a bigger factor for where I was at than anything.
Now, you look a little wet. Tell me about what happened this afternoon.
Yeah, we were all the way down almost at the dam, and a storm came up, and there was no running away from it. It just hit so fast you could see it coming across the lake, and we actually hit in a boat dock for probably 45 minutes, and the dock actually got struck by lightning, and trees were getting hit. It was nasty, and it took us an hour and a half to get back. A 40-minute run. It took us an hour and a half, so I'm lucky to be here.
Yeah, it sounds like too you lost a lot of fishing time.
I did. It's sitting there and waiting, and then having to lose the extra 30-40 minutes to get back, and it did. And that late in the afternoon, these fish really turn on about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then there's a good window. But unfortunately, I kind of missed out on that. But blessed to have what I got, and early boat number tomorrow. I'm gonna try and get on them again.
Yeah, I was gonna say the flip flop. You get the early boat number. You got to make your first choice a good one.
I got to make it a good one. I'm going to, do the same thing. Got it a good rotation today, and just hope I can do it again tomorrow.
Michael, tell me about Ring Around the Rosies out there. Were you able to dodge the crowd, find something to yourself?
Yeah, I was. I can honestly say I never fished in a group of boats today. That was really surprising to me. I got on about 3 or 4 places that evidently not many boats know about. So if I can keep on that good rotation and not jump behind somebody everywhere I go, I'll be in good shape.
How many places did you hit total today?
I probably hit somewhere around 10 and caught fish off of probably 5 or 6 of them. I caught my 3 biggest fish all off in one place. Caught 2 on the first stop this morning, and then wound up catching 1 later in the day. So I'm gonna try and get on it first thing in the morning again. It's real close to a community hole. There was about 5 boats that sat there all day today. So if I can get on that one little sweet spot off to the side of it and sit there for a little while in the morning, I think I can get a good bag off of it.
Already we're hearing guys talking about being on little side periphery places around these community holes, the exit lanes, so to speak, of where these fish move to.
Yeah, I mean, the community holes, they're community holes for a reason. They hold fish. They hold large amounts of fish, probably more than anywhere else. These schools here are the biggest ones I've ever seen on any lake on the Tennessee River. So if you can find some just off to themselves, maybe 50 yards, just far enough where you're not crossing lines with somebody else, there's going to be some good fish in them.
You told me at one point today you actually had to go to a drop shot.
Yeah, I did early this morning. Wound up never even catching a fish on it. But I caught all my fish today on Lunker Hunt Swim Bento, a 5.5 inch on a 1 ounce jig head.
Anything in your back pocket for the next couple days, or did you hold it to the floor today? I mean, did you visit everything you had?
Yeah, I visited everything I had. If I can make the cut, I know a lot of stuff will open up. So it's just a matter of banging through tomorrow and hoping you make it to Saturday.
The roll continues for Hack Attack. Can do no wrong. Greg, a lot of guys out there today playing the ledge game, getting in the crowd, out on the deeper ledges. Doesn't sound like that was exactly the case for you.
Well, the deal was I was fortunate enough to find this group of fish, and undoubtedly nobody else found them. So I didn't start on them because they were on a place where you'd be seen. So I got away from them, fished a little bit because I took off boat 4. I was going to go right to them. And I look up and see all that mass of boats coming, so I got off of them for a while and let everybody go. The only problem was there was one guy that pulled up out from me on another ledge and fished and watched it go down. And when I fired the group, I'm catching them like my first fish out there was a 4-pound smallmouth. And I catch a couple little ones, and then I get the group, and then it's big smallmouth, big largemouth. It's just like it's Tennessee River fishing, it's the way it's supposed to be. But so I know this guy and have a lot of respect for him, so I expected that for him not to, so I left. And I ran off down a ways, and I watched, and he didn't come immediately, so I didn't think. So I went on down the lake and just went hitting some other spots. Caught a lot of fish on some other places. I came back, and of course, I think he spent the day there the rest of the day, so I don't know, I'll know if he caught them or not. But I burned them a little bit, and I did that intentionally because my deal is here, I'm just trying to make the cup. And I feel like this is a 2-day tournament for me, so I got to catch all the weight I could catch in 2 days. So, I mean, I worked on them. I probably caught 30 or 35 off the school, and I don't know how big the school is, but the kind of place it is, it can't be too big. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of them 1,000-fish Kentucky Lake type schools. I knew it wasn't that big, but my goal was, I said, you know, I'm gonna burn them till I catch 20. If I can catch 20, maybe I can. I didn't know. I knew there were some good ones there, and you know, and so finally when they quit biting, I left them. You know, do I think I could go back and catch some more? Yes, but I don't know if that, you know, how many he caught. I'll know when he weighs in, because he had not caught one before he went there, and then he was there all. He spent the rest of the day there, so you know, who knows? I was really kind of disappointed in him because he was the guy I think a lot of. But you know, regardless, I got, you know, I had 2 places like that found. Fishing has not been very good. I found those fish like the first day of practice, 2 hours in. And about 3 hours after that, I found another school, but they were positioned a little different from the way these were, but they seemed to be better than this school at the time. But they're in a place where they can move. These really were not in a place, I can't really go into detail about that, but these were set up on a place. I think they were a group that has never been fished. I think that was another reason, because, you know, it was that virgin school of fish, and just there's not very many of them left out there like that. So, you know, who knows? I'm proud to have what I have, and like I said, I was just going to try to catch all I could catch, because I really, you know, I don't want to go into Kentucky Lake in that last tournament needing to catch anything. You know what I'm saying? Not needing to win the tournament to make the Forest Wood Cup.
Robbie, got out on the water today, saw a lot of boats grouped up in little areas. Were you part of that, or were you able to find something to yourself?
Well, you know, I was just like everybody else. I was kind of a part of it, but I did have a place or two where there was only 1 or 2 boats. You know, that's pretty rare here, actually. So a couple of my bigger fish, and my co-angler, he had one over 5 too, come off a place where there really wasn't nobody fishing except for 1 boat. So, you know, maybe there's a few there tomorrow. It was kind of a place there really shouldn't have been no fish. Out where the fish should have been, kind of where they was a ledge, there wasn't nothing. And we just kind of drifted around the end of it, and there was a lot of short fish around there, and we just kept throwing and throwing, and 3 of those 5-pounders come off that, you know, just right in the middle. I bet we caught 75 that wouldn't even keep, and catching 3 5-pounders. So it don't make no sense, and there's nothing on the bottom there except mud. There's just nothing makes any sense out of it.
Was it mainly one place for you today, or did you move around?
No, I moved. I burnt both tanks of gas and hit 5 or 6 different spots, and tried to get on 15 more where they was 10 to 15 boats. Yeah. So yeah, I moved around a lot, burned a lot of gas.
But you had one spot to yourself.
I had one spot completely to myself, and I had another spot there was just only 1 boat on. Actually, 2 more spots there was only 1 boat on, and then all the rest of them had 10 to 15.
You were early flight today. What boat number were you?
I was 36.
That kind of gave you run of the lake pretty much. I mean, so, you know, that worked to your advantage?
No, not really. The first 2 places I wanted to stop, there was already a boat sitting, so I kept going thinking, well, surely I'll get one. Run by my 3rd one, there was already somebody there, so I just pulled in right behind him and waited for everybody to pass, and then just trailed everybody down to see what was open. So no, early flight did not help me one bit. I didn't have a fish for the first hour and a half.
Due to the storm, Casey, we had to move in here to the bunker. So, tell me a little bit about your day. It looked like you were sharing some water with some other boats. I got to look at you. Was it all day sharing? Did you ever get anything to yourself?
If there's a school of fish on this lake, there's a lot of people sharing. This morning I started on a place I hadn't even intended to start there, and I run by and there wasn't anybody on it. So I pulled up, and I caught 3 good ones right off the bat, and then the boat started coming in, and I shared it with 2 other boats the rest of the morning. When I left there, I had about 18 pounds, and then I fished all day. Pretty much just wanted to run to the rest of my stuff, make my presence known so wouldn't nobody accuse me tomorrow if I needed a hole jumping. So I went down there, and I caught a lot of fish today. And at the very last minute, I found another school I didn't even know was there, and I caught 1 more 5-pounder. And that got me up to 21. I'm not even due in till 4:45. And these storms come in, I said, I ain't fishing in this. I ain't got to. I ain't going to do it.
That qualification for the Cup's looking pretty good.
Yeah, you know, that was my whole deal coming into this tournament. Not necessarily trying to win. You know, if it happens, I'm just fishing for the moment. That's what I'm doing right now, just trying to survive. It worked out good today, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Good news is you get to add your hour and a half back on tomorrow. You okay with that?
I wish.